New tonight on KGW News, a car goes airborne and with kids inside, what authorities found when they caught up. Plus, the sound of gunfire. Then a suspect on the run, the evidence that secured a conviction for a man who shot and killed a teenager.
I don't know if closure is ever the right word.
Also tonight, a neighborhood tested and homes overrun.
And they do use that trash room as like a bathroom. Yeah, which that is a lot.
And how do you really feel about hanging on to Rip City?
We got to take care of what we own.
This survey is too little, too late.
With a new survey asking some big questions that could shape the future of Moda and how we pay for it. But first, to breaking news in a shooting in Wood Village with one person now dead, authorities say, outside the Fred Meyer there. This was around 7:30, the sheriff's office says, and the victim died at the scene. Here is some of what we heard from a witness who arrived just before first responders.
The police arrived within minutes. I mean, people were on their phones and employees were on their phones and, waving the police down to make sure they were going to the exact location because, we didn't know what the condition is of the person. We wanted to make sure he got medical help as soon as possible.
Authorities say they detained one person who they are calling a person of interest and say there is no ongoing threat. It does not appear anyone else was hurt. Deputies have not yet named that victim. New at 11, prosecutors have released some of the video evidence they say helped secure the murder conviction of a Portland man who was just found guilty of killing a Gresham teenager. Surveillance video recording what appeared to be more than a dozen gunshots. It's a lot to listen to there. Prosecutors say the video from 2021 in Gresham shows the shooter Isaac Cortez Bynum Jr. there running down the street. Moments later, his victim, by the way, was 17-year-old Seneca Alexander, who was with friends, and authorities say who gave the suspect a ride to a store.
I'll never forget the friends of Seneca that were with him in his final moments. The way that this has continued to impact their lives. They've lost a friend, and they'll have to live the rest of their lives with the memories of what they saw happen to him.
The exact motive for the shooting remains unclear. Bynum is set to be sentenced later next month. In a major update, the city of Portland is now asking the public to weigh in on the renovation of Moda and for their priorities when it comes to the future of the arena, the neighborhood, and by extension, the Portland Trailblazers. Catherine Cook's here. Catherine, the city has to pony up if it wants to hang on to hundreds of millions the state has already committed.
Yeah, and David, that's money that expires in December if the city can't negotiate a new lease with the Blazers. Their new survey, the city asks the public for opinions on all of it, how much to spend, where funding should come from, and what's most important in and around the Moda Center.
What should Portland do with the Moda Center? City Council is asking. They released this online survey Tuesday with questions like, how important is it for Moda Center to be renovated? And do you support the city of Portland contributing up to $120 million?
This survey is too little, too late.
Ciara Pressler is board chair for Better Portland, which advocates for Portland's economic health.
The city asks us things over and over, and we just want them to deliver.
She's been watching the funding debate over the Moda Center, which hasn't been renovated in 30 years, and which the city owns. The Blazers' new owner says it's time to step up. The state's committed $365 million for renovations, contingent on the county and city approving funding of their own.
If you ask me, we have to do this and more. The whole district around the Moda Center could be thriving. It could be a place that you go even if there's not an event at the Moda. Retail, restaurant, it's so central to the central city.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely time for an upgrade. I believe we got to take care of what we own.
The city wants all the opinions. Besides this online survey, they're holding listening sessions at several Portland parks this weekend. We found lots of opinions on KGW's Facebook page. Aaron writes, Portland and the state of Oregon have higher priorities than coddling billionaire sports franchise owners. And Stephen writes, the city owns it. If they were responsible landlords, they would have a fund to maintain and upgrade the place. If not, then the tenants are free to look elsewhere.
Although the Blazers, by the way, have never directly said, we're threatening to leave. They haven't said that. It's all kind of implied.
Last week, City Councilor Steve Novick told us he wants to know what renovations are necessary for what purposes.
Do you think that we should pay whatever it takes to make the Blazers happy? Do you think we should pay whatever it takes to keep Bruce Springsteen coming back? Or do you think that at this point there's other priorities and you don't want to invest any public money in an entertainment venue even though the city owns it?
Survey says we'll see.
It's hard to tell how accurate this survey is, given you don't have to be a Portland resident and it appears you can take it multiple times, with the results also visible to users. Still, we've posted a link to the survey and where to find those in-person feedback sessions this weekend in our article on KGW.com. David.
Also interesting to watch that feedback come in real time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate it. We'll switch to a live look now over the Rose City on this Tuesday night on a day where things stayed relatively cool, though they're about to trend toward a big warm up. Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino here with a first look at what is headed our way. Hey there, Matt.
Thanks, David. Yeah, we're still tracking some showers on Doppler radar, but the valleys have been mainly dry for most of the day. It's chilly out there. It's 51 in Salem right now with a mainly clear sky. Still a few speckles of rain coming in around Astoria up through southwest Washington, but they've largely ended in Oregon. We may yet get a sprinkle towards the morning hours, but I doubt we add to our rainfall totals much, if at all. We had 2,607 inch in Scappoose, and believe it or not, that was the most in the state, even more than what we got over on the Oregon coast. So our high temperature today was 67. That's below average by about 6 degrees. Medford, Pendleton, and Southeast Oregon made the 70s. Everybody else was cooler than that, and I hope you enjoyed and are going to enjoy the cool weather for the next few days because it gets hot this weekend. Sunday and Monday, temperatures well into the 90s. You want to think about limiting your exposure to the hot weather during the hottest part of the day in the afternoon. And hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. More on how hot it's going to get exactly in a bit, David.
Yeah, here it comes. Thanks, Matt. In an update, a suspect accused of stealing a bike and running over a Hood River man who later died will spend over a decade behind bars. In April 2025, Stephen Hayes confronted the alleged thief here, 32-year-old Jonathan Matthews, outside his home. Authorities say Hayes grabbed onto the suspect's truck and was dragged and run over. Matthews pleaded guilty to manslaughter and robbery as well and was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. To North Portland now, where 4 abandoned homes have become a major headache for one neighborhood. We're talking about squatters, violence, break-ins, and fires. Blair Best went to take a look.
In North Portland's Arbor Lodge neighborhood,
we're trying to make a community. This community's old. It's been around forever.
A community is being tested by 4 abandoned homes overrun with squatters on North Maryland Avenue.
A company bought them out and they have been abandoned ever since then.
In 2023, Portland-based Seneca Development Company purchased the properties with plans to build a 5-story apartment complex by 2025. It's now 1 year past that deadline, and neighbors say the only movement on the sites are the homeless people breaking in.
So I had to put cameras on my house, security signs on my house, alarm systems in my house.
A lot of violent activity too, like yelling and screaming in the middle of the night, a lot of police activity.
Yeah, and they do use that trash room as like a bathroom. Yeah, which that is a lot.
On Tuesday, Portland police removed someone from one of the homes. Police arrested another person for trespassing last week. This video shows one of the homes catching fire back in February. Police say it was human-caused.
Yeah, I mean, we empathize entirely with all the neighbors.
Michael Hamilton is the president of Seneca Development Company. He says they've spent about $75,000 securing the properties and weekly sweeps.
Even with that, there's still a ton of headaches that we deal with. I wish I could say I'm really frustrated, but I can't imagine how frustrated the neighbors are that live there every day.
Well, I feel abandoned. I feel hopeless.
Hamilton says high interest rates, President Trump's tariffs, and city fees forced Seneca to pause the development project.
But then we kicked it back off when the city passed their STC waiver.
SDCs, or System Development Charges, are fees developers pay the city to cover the cost of expanding infrastructure to accommodate new buildings. Last spring, Portland temporarily waived those fees to boost housing construction, saving this project about $1.6 million.
It's the only way a project like this moves forward in today's environment. It's the single largest cost in a project that isn't the construction itself.
The project now in the city's hands.
So as soon as we have a building permit approved, we can start construction on the project.
A timeline some neighbors won't wait for.
And a couple other houses around here, the tenants are moving because they're scared. We need to take care of our neighborhoods.
Blair Best, KGW News.
Developing tonight, Portland firefighters are throwing their support behind an initiative that calls for funding more police officers by tapping into the city's Climate Project Fund. The proposal could go to voters this November if organizers get enough signatures. So if approved, it would require at least 2 police officers per 1,000 residents. Based on the current population, crunch the numbers, it would mean hiring more than 400 additional officers. So to pay for it, organizers want to divert 25% of Portland's Clean Energy Fund, that's the PCEF, which generates about $200 million in revenue each year, nearly 7 times more money than originally estimated. Here's just one of many opinions.
I'm hoping that with this initiative, we can stabilize police funding and make it less political. We deserve safety.
Organizers have until July 6 to collect roughly 41,000 signatures in order to qualify for the November ballot. A Portland area pup is recovering at home tonight after being bitten on its snout by a rattlesnake. 8-year-old Georgie, a St. Bernard mix, was bitten while on the trail in the Catherine Creek area on the Washington side of the gorge. Within minutes, she was struggling to breathe and began to swell. Georgie spent several days at Dove Lewis Animal Hospital in the ICU. Veterinarians say snake encounters are more common during warmer months and advise folks to keep pets on designated trails to avoid tall grass, rock piles, and down logs. Glad she is